video cut off. But right then and there, I tell you, I have a place to stay, but I don't have anything permanent for myself. That made perfect sense to me. If you needed me to elaborate, you could have asked me to, but you didn't, so moving on. Also, when he says, did you want or need any of the dressers from the room or that desk? It's very clear to me throughout all this time when all this was going on, he put a lot of effort on sounding like he really cared and seeming like he was concerned for how everything was going for me on text. But then it's like, in your house, you don't say anything to me. There is nothing like, hey, do you like need help looking for a place to stay? Do you even have enough money to move? So you ask me some questions like, do I need a dresser? How about asking me, do you even have a place to put the dresser? He wants to make like he really cared and was concerned throughout this whole process, but you weren't. You were asking, like when he texted me and asked me if I want to take the dresser and stuff, that's because he doesn't want to use those dressers. That's because he wanted to get that stuff out. And what I said was absolutely not. I am not going to do any favors for this person by hiring somebody or asking my friends to help me lift this furniture and make it easier for him. That's what he wanted. That's why he was asking if I wanted to take the dressers. It's not because he really thinks, oh, I wonder if she needs a dresser. It's because you want to get as much as you can out of me. If I can make your life easier by getting your dressers out, then woo, wonderful. So it's like, he's like, oh, why am I finding out and stuff? You don't even care, sir. We all know you don't really care, and it's okay. You don't have to, fake like you're really concerned and fake like you're outraged that I'm on the street. Because if you really were outraged, you wouldn't have told me to go there in the first place. That fake ass 90 days notice, as someone who has served people many subpoenas, many evictions and eviction notices and stuff, you already know how the true eviction process works. So you thought you was about to just text me, oh, you have 90 days. And what I found out, which I will get to in the next video, is that I did not have to go anywhere, because he didn't properly evict me. So this man is out here texting my phone, portraying himself like he is one thing, when the reality is that all this time, he knew that he was doing me wrong, and he knew that he was doing me bogus up until the part where he kicked me out. Even the way that went down, it didn't make any sense at all. You're really about to sit here and talk to me about using your resources? Like, how selfish does that sound, considering all that you ask of me? And then to text me, literally text my phone. He texted my phone the eviction notice. If you saw the video, I'm about to be homeless, y'all. I read that eviction notice. That's not how you evict somebody. So this whole thing was just like asshole backwards, 100%, not the way that it's supposed to go down formally and officially and what have you. So when he's up in arms about this stuff, I'm like, you lost me. You can honestly just chill. Because at this point, I don't have any more energy to throw your way, sir. I need to figure out where I'm going. And that process has nothing to do with you. Anywho. Alright, so I already know that this video is long, and I'm going to try to make this not so long, but I realized while I was editing this that I forgot to read the rest of the messages. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So after I tell him that I'm still looking for something permanent, and that's my like abbreviated explanation as to like why I told him that I had somewhere to stay. So after that message to him, I say, or he says to me, are you dealing downstairs tonight or not? If not, then when? Question mark. Perhaps you need to rent a storage space. The fact that I get no answers and that you are dealing this the way you are is disrespectful. You knew I had shit scheduled for today, and now you won't even let me know when shit is happening so that I can reschedule. Now, before I read my response, I just want to break some things down. First of all, the fact that he keeps on asking me if I am dealing with the shit that's downstairs. I do not care about the stuff that's downstairs. I do not care. If it wasn't clear, then when I wasn't responding to him, when I was literally heading into the south side, when I'm, oh my God, like just going through so many emotions and so much fear because I genuinely don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. And maybe his privileged, well off ass didn't understand that. Maybe he couldn't wrap his mind around that concept, what it feels like to have everything ripped away from you. Literally back in April, when he told me on the phone that I had to leave his house over some fugazi ass stuff that went down that he never explained to me. He didn't even understand the impact of that. He can simply say to me, oh, you have to get out of my house. How about you don't pay rent and you leave by July 1st? And he doesn't feel the impact of that. Since that conversation, I felt the pressure. I felt the weight. I felt all of that on my shoulders since April 1st. He has been concerned throughout this entire 3-month process. His concern was just himself. His concern was this room, who I believe, honestly, he was just kicking me out of that room so he could remodel it and make it nice for his daughter, who was not even interested in staying over there anyway because she had her own room and was never even there. So it's like, I don't know, maybe he has some dream, maybe he has some vision of replacing me with her in that room. I don't know. Like I said multiple times, he never explained this stuff to me. He just told me that I had to leave. When he's talking to me about being disrespectful, oh, remember, it takes a disrespectful ass person to know a disrespectful ass person. You want to tell me about disrespect. That's real interesting. And then to bring up, oh, how I knew he had shit scheduled today. Let's talk about what you knew. You knew that I was poor. You knew that you were charging me $375 and at most I was bringing home $500. You knew that I had other bills like my student debt, like my phone bill. You knew that there was hardly anything in my refrigerator, which is why you offered to give me food sometimes. So if you want to talk about all that I knew, let's bring up all that you knew. Yeah, okay, I knew he had something scheduled today. Yeah, I knew, I think a week or so prior, that he hired contractors to come rip up that room, which was basically him telling me that this is how I'm going to make sure you have to get out because you are not going to have a room to go back to. That's what that bullshit was about. That whole, like, I had stuff scheduled today, meaning my intent was to run you out of this room and you're upset because it didn't go the way that you thought it would. Like I said in the video, join the club. Talking about some I'm disrespectful. Let's go through your grown ass. Let's talk about your disrespect. It's so funny. It's real funny to me how people want to jump up in arms, jump out of their damn bodies when you finally do to them what they have done to you. And I didn't even come close. Because best to believe, I didn't have the power. I didn't have the ability to mess with him, mess with his life the way he messed with mine. To take advantage of him, to use him the way he used me. So this is when I said, nah. It's 11:09. I already told you that I need to charge my phone. I already told you that I'm homeless. Your ass has no concept of that. Your ass can't wrap your mind around that. This whole situation irritated me. But let me continue. Let me just continue and be done. Because I don't really care to talk about this anymore. Once I get it out, once I say what the hell I want to say, like, I'm done. And speaking of that feeling, what I said to this person when he decided to text me and tell me I'm disrespectful, what I said to him is, you fail to realize my world is not centered around you or your daily objectives. I am laser focused on meeting my basic needs because I don't have a house to call my own. That has been my priority since April, when you decided to evict me due to my inability to say you are right and I am wrong. For the past 3 months, you have inquired about my progress for the sake of carrying out your own agenda, not to help me. Even now, after I tell you my circumstance, all you can think about is yourself, your plans that you have to reschedule. I am unsure of where I'm going to sleep from here on out. I am not thinking about your plans or your carpet. I can hardly remember what day or time it is. You think I'm doing things to spite you when in reality, you are not on my mind. I don't move that way. You followed me to work this morning to intimidate me, then text me good morning shortly afterwards. I don't move that way. Beyond disrespectful, that is discomforting. The first thing you did after our disagreement is take away my shelter, the one thing you know I cannot thrive without. Therefore, I don't believe you have a genuine heart when it comes to me. I don't believe you inquire out of concern, yet I still respond. You may find the delay disrespectful, but I am doing the best I can to remove myself and my belongings from your space. Good night. This man went on to talk about first of all, I never followed you. That's when he hit me with the bullshit, talking about he went to the lake. How he happens to just go to the lake and follow and go in the same direction. Yeah, okay. Whatever you want to tell yourself. I'm not even going to read the essay that he wrote me in response to what I said, because it was literally just him trying to portray me as if I don't know who I am. I am the most self-aware person that I know. You cannot tell me something about myself I most likely have not already figured out. I also know when someone is trying to tell me when someone is telling me the way they perceive me, which is not who I am. Sir, that's your perception of me. He wants to go back and forth in the text threads and stuff. Nah, we're not going to do that. However, what I will do right now is acknowledge that he did decide to bring up my mom, bring up my dad. He talked about I let you live here. He said, I let you live here for a year rent free. That is a lie. That is a lie. The first thing that this man told me before I even moved my belongings into his house is that the only way I could stay there is if it was mutually beneficial. From the get-go, it has involved his greed. From the get-go, it has always been, how can I get what I can out of you? Which I would just tell myself, okay, because he's helping me, he's helping me. But to actually text my phone and tell me, you let me live in your house rent free, you don't even have the kindness in your heart. Talking about some rent free when I wasn't paying with my money. Once it became clear to me that I needed to get a second job because you were not paying me enough, nor were you paying me fairly. Let me remind you, this is the same person who chose when he wanted to take the taxes out, when he didn't want to, when he wanted to pay me $10, when he wanted to pay me $11. I don't even think that's how I don't even think legally you can do that. But he decided that he wanted to be wishy-washy and inconsistent with the workload and with the pay. So I finally decided, let me get a job, because this man wants to try to charge me rent on top of asking me to do all this other stuff and telling me that this is what I need to do in order to, quote unquote, pay off the rent. For him to bring up my mom, bring up my dad, and my foster mother, who he went out and contacted during his cruise, during his vacation. How dare you? Let's get one thing straight. You stuck your nose in the business involving my family that had nothing to do with you. You decided to do that. You found somebody. You came across somebody whose story was parallel to yours in some ways, considering he had a fucked up or whatever relationship with his mom, with his dad, and his father passed before he got to make amends with him. And he literally looked me in my face and told me, I don't want to see that happen to you. That's nice, that's cute and whatever, but that doesn't then give you the license to live through me like you attempted to do by pushing me to go talk to my mother, go talk to my father, despite the fact that I had not healed, I had not recovered from all that I had been running from all that I had experienced. You didn't give a fuck about the trauma. You didn't give a fuck about me getting beaten, my head getting stomped on, me getting molested, me getting raped. You didn't care about any of that stuff. You just saw someone and you didn't understand, you didn't see Why I didn't just go sit around with my parents to sing Kumbaya. So you decided to take it upon yourself to push me, to encourage me to go do things you won't even do with your own family. This is the same person who walks past his own blood relatives every single day, don't say shit to them. But you want to sit here, jump on your high horse, and tell me about my family. Ain't that some hypocritical shit? So don't get it twisted and talking about some, oh, I did this with for your dad and for your mom and for you and all this other stuff. Yeah, okay. I see that as someone who had an opportunity, who saw a parallel and took the opportunity to live through me. And I took the assistance that you offered me. And I said thank you. I showed my appreciation, but I also understood that until you could practice what you preached, it meant nothing. It was invalid. For you to come out here and yell at me, scream at me to the point where I'm crying in his car. He's screaming at me about my family who you met who you met yesterday. You don't even know what the fuck you're screaming about, but you feel self-righteous enough to tell me about my family. Well, let me tell you something. You go fucking fix your family before you worry about mine. Thank you. How fucking dare you? It's the same shit my temporary legal guardian did. Towards the end, I'm packing my stuff. I'm separating from this woman, and she has the audacity to bring up my family, who she never gave a fuck about in the first place, who she only talked down on in the first place. And then here's another thing, just to throw some cumin into the shit, just to throw some chili powder, some sazon, sofrito into the damn story. These two people are in cahoots with each other. So you got Shorty, my temporary legal guardian, on the phone with Outlets Dot for 4 hours the day that I move in. Now, what do you think these two people have to talk about for 4 hours? Mind you, my temporary legal guardian is the same woman who was always talking about his weight, always talking about how he abused such and such, how he did such and such. He's a monster. He's da-da-da-da-da. He's a creep. Da-da-da-da-da. Ain't got nothing sweet to say about this man. Take Outlets Dot, for example. Before I even moved my stuff into his house, when we were in the car, one of the first things that he said to me was, I never trusted that bitch. I never trusted her with my daughter. That's why I took my daughter out of her business, because of da-da-da-da-da. I knew, I sensed, I saw. Okay, so you sensed and you saw, sensei motherfucker. You are aware of the red flags I just brought to your attention, and yet you stay on the phone and fake kick it with this woman for 4 hours. Where do they do that at, bro? What type of shit is that, bro? If I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you, period. We're not sitting around singing Kumbaya. We're not eating Pop-Tarts together. Get the fuck out of here. We are done. No response is my response when I don't fuck with you. I can't stand people who treat their friends and their enemies the same. That's crazy to me, bro. But then want to lecture you about yourself. These people were on the phone with each other for 4 hours. And what's interesting is that it isn't until 6 months later that he brings it to my attention what some of the things are that they talked about on the phone. So initially, the day after they speak, he tells me, oh yeah, she talked to me for 4 hours. Probably filled his head, or not even probably, certainly filled his head with all this stuff about me. And then he sprinkles the truth, if it even is that, to me of what they talked about throughout the time that I live with them. So I'm already seeing that I cannot trust you, because best to believe if somebody hits my phone up and tells me about my friend, I'm calling my friend immediately after, and I'm saying, girl, guess who the fuck just called me and told me all this stuff about you? That's called loyalty. Learn about it. That's called integrity. That's called truth. That's called honesty. Learn about it. That's called communicating with people. Learn about it. These people fake kick it with each other. And then the entire year and a few months that I'm staying with them, it turns out they're in communication. When this woman picked up and left the state, who did she text? Him. And tell him, oh, I wish you well. Fake ass. Oh, you wishing him well, right? Is that why you were sitting there talking all that stuff about him? And don't tell me people evolve. Don't tell me people change. Because then not once were these people actually interacting with each other on a genuine level, going out with each other or nothing like that. They're just sending texts with each other, and it's her way of trying to get in my head, get in your head, because I am the person she's really trying to communicate with. And she figures if she doesn't get a response from me, but I know she's communicating with you, it keeps her relevant in my mind. That's what she's thinking. And it's quite interesting that your grown ass didn't pick that up. She never gave a fuck about you. But granted, you most likely never gave a fuck about her either. Y'all just gonna fake kick it with each other. Like I always say, if they will do it to one person, they will do it to you. So y'all deserve each other. Enjoy. The best thing that I could do is get away from both of y'all. Because that toxicity is more damaging than it will ever be empowering, than it will ever be uplifting. And as for my family, what y'all could both do is not worry about them. Not that I think that'll be very hard. What y'all could both do is go fix your own families. Spending all this time bringing up mine and what have you, as if any of y'all ever made the effort to actually understand the reason why, not even the reason, but all that I experienced with my foster family, with my biological family, even with my temporary legal guardian who said the most fucked up things to me. I told him just a few of those things, and it went in and it went out. Because, of course, he was just, I guess, taking her word for it or looking at me some type of way and just thinking, it's not that bad. It's like, I don't have time for these kinds of people. I'm really glad that I got away from it. Because this type of toxicity, this type of bullshit, this is not how I interact with people. This is not what I do. This is not a part of my day-to-day with the people who I care for and the people who care for me. This is what you do when you don't appreciate people, when you don't respect them, when you don't value them, when you don't understand what you got when it's sitting right in front of you. This is what you do. This is how you disregard them. This person wants to sit here and read me and tell me about myself. And that's typical of people who lack self-awareness. They got a lot more to say about other people than they do when it comes to their own selves. So, no, none of this surprises me. It doesn't surprise me that this man was so quick to tell me about how I should be sending edible arrangements to my mom and stuff. But walk past his own blood relative every single day, don't say shit to them. Well, make that shit make sense. And then you could circle back to me. It's crazy to me, This is the kind of stuff that I'm just like, I just be like, God, why did I have to experience that? But my eyes are open and I thank God for that. I thank God that I see right through this shit. I see right through people like this. People with no integrity or very little integrity. People who turn it on and turn it off. Choose when they want to be by the book. Choose when they want to be spiritual and do right. And for these people to bring up my family. My family. This is the same man who read my poetry collection twice. Didn't want to pay for it. Didn't want to support. Read my poetry collection twice. Had nothing but criticism to say except for, oh, you wrote a book. Congratulations. So even when you were given the opportunity to understand, the opportunity to ask questions, you don't. You don't care to. But then you want to run your mouth, send me fucking essays and try to tell me about myself and tell me how I need to see myself as a victim. Funny, because that's what my temporary legal guardian said. I need to see myself as a victim, huh? That's real interesting. I don't act like my family is perfect. I don't ever act or portray myself as if I don't know my own family is in shambles. But that's also the reason I don't ever go tell somebody else how they need to operate in their own. It's called humility. It's called practicing what you preach. It's called minding your damn business when you don't actually care. And what these people show me time and time again is they don't care. And if you don't care, you can stop talking to me. And on that note, I would say good night. It's a wrap with a bow on top. Yeah, this is about to be a long ass series, you know? Pero adiosito. Take care.